This pose will be looking at snail pose in yin yoga. So snail pose is a very deep stretch for the back body, which targets in particular the urinary bladder meridian. It is really important to avoid, oh God. In this pose, we'll be looking at snail pose in yin yoga. So snail pose is a really deep back body stretch, targeting the whole way along the back line, including the hamstrings and right the way along the spine. So it works with the urinary bladder meridian in Chinese medicine. It is the equivalent of plow pose in hatha yoga. So it's really important to be mindful of if you have any neck or shoulder issues. It may not be the best pose for you. You can take caterpillar pose, which is our sort of seated forward fold, which will target the same stretch along the back body as snail pose, but without the weight of gravity coming so intensely down onto your neck and shoulders. But if you're good to go in this area and you'd like to try it, then let's give it a go. So coming down onto your backs, and snail pose involves us taking our legs over our head and playing about with variations there. One thing that you might want to do is you can take a blanket just underneath the tops of your shoulders there. And this can help give a little bit more comfort and a little bit more space for your neck. So that might be worth something playing about with. So you need to use a little bit of momentum in order to get into the pose. So if you know that you cannot get your knees into your head in your normal hatha practice, then I would suggest this wouldn't be the pose for you. So for those of you who can, then we press our hands into the floor, we swing our knees into our forehead, coming to support our lower back, and then you extend your legs out behind you. Now, already I'm feeling a very deep stretch here across the whole back line of my body. So there's variations. You can choose to have your toes rolled under or your feet with your toes pointed. I would not try and really straighten through your legs as you might do with plow pose in hatha yoga. I would probably keep a little bit more of a softness to the knees there. So depending whether you want to take the stretch more into the legs or more into the spine, how the legs are will affect this. So first of all, we can play about with the direction, the distance of our feet away from each other. And then we can begin to play about with if we'd like to bring our arms overhead, so you can kind of hold on to your feet and ankles and use it as a little bit of a counterweight. I'm dropping my weight a little bit sort of more behind me now and taking that stretch a little bit more into my lower back by doing this. Likewise, you may want to kind of begin to bend your knees and bring your knees either side of your head. Arms can be overhead, out to the side, or on the floor behind you, or even supporting your lower back. And it may feel nice, have I got a prop there? I hope I have. Not the easiest pose to demo, to even kind of get some kind of level of support there with a prop. No, that's not working in my case. There we go. It does if I come down a little bit lower. So it's almost like a little stopper for me there. And by placing that there, I'm really sort of taking that stretch more through my spine now. My legs are more or less passive in this pose. I have got a little bit of hamstring work going on, but it's a lot more spinal focused. So if I want to stretch more into my hamstrings, my legs come a little bit straighter, more into my back, I bend my knees a little bit more. Okay, I'm going to remove the prop. So of course you don't need the prop there. Your hands may be what's more comfortable for you, make you feel more secure there. And make sure you lengthen that back of the neck there. We don't want to have any strain on the neck whatsoever. And please try not to move your head too drastically in this pose, or if at all, if you can help it. Okay. And then when you want to come out of the pose, bring your hands down to the floor, rolling the knees in, slowly rolling out through the spine, and bringing yourself back down to your back. And then when you're ready, extending the legs out, ready for a full rebound, removing any props that you may be using underneath your shoulders and feeling the effects of the pose. And one thing that you can do with snail pose is you can start with your legs kind of quite extended, and little by little, very slowly as time goes on in the pose, you can kind of edge your feet a little bit more towards you and focus on shifting that stretch from being more back of the leg centric to moving that shifting that stretch subtly across your buttocks and along your spine until eventually you lower your way back down. So a pose that isn't often done in yin yoga. However, if you would like to play about with it, it can offer this wonderful back body stretch and stimulation and compression to the front body, to the organs of digestion there. It's really nice for stimulating the thyroid gland in the throat. However, please, please, please approach it from a place of safety for your body if you want to attempt it. Okay, thank you. Namaste.